I don't know whether to refer to you as my Dracula or my Skeletor, because I grew up watching you in those roles, especially the Skeletor. But we're here to talk about the trial of the Chicago 7. My first question is, what drew you to the role?
Aaron Sorkin, great writing, great story. It's really that simple. I cannot imagine myself ever having said no. You know, from the moment I turned the page, I was hooked. And then when the judge came on, I thought, there's no way I can't play this man. It's too good.
So what sort of prep do you go through to do a role like this that has such a historical background, so to speak? Are you getting newspaper clippings? Are you seeking out people who were there? What was your process?
Well, there was a book, I think it may have been called The Bad Judges or Just the Judges, which I read, and Julius Hoffman was a chapter. And there were some other little bits of information, not a lot about him. And then I forgot it all and just played it the way I felt strongly that it should be played. The history, when you play a live character, any little thing that you can find that might encourage your imagination is great. But then once you're on camera, you know it's not a history lesson, and it's not getting caught up in, oh, I know this piece of information is true of him. Things happen on a set, and things happen when a director yells action, and you go in the direction your instincts take you.
Do you think Judge Hoffman do you think Judge Hoffman felt no matter what the evidence said, no matter what people told him, he was just right about their being guilt?
From the moment he walked on until the end, he was always right. They were going to go to jail. There was no question. I think he cited Kunstler for like 29 contempt of court. Kunstler went to jail for it. He was a puppet of the administration and determined to do what needed to be done to protect the powers that be. And look where we are today in our own last period of time. You know, same thing, doesn't change.
The more things change, the more things stay the same, so to speak.
Yes.
Now, in terms of your castmates, the ensemble is outstanding. Can you touch on just working with this cast? I mean, this was just like an all-star murderer's row of just tremendous performances.
Yeah, I agree. And I had the great pleasure of sitting on the bench and watching them all create their characters. It was a great experience, really.
Now, in terms of playing this particular role, did you pull from recent events in our current world to kind of shape and mold how you were going to go about playing the judge, or was it just the sheer moment as you were going through these takes, just going with what you felt was right?
I just went along with when you have something as well crafted as this, you have to get out of your way and just play it. And that's all I did. The camera rolled and I played my instincts about the man emotionally. I didn't want him to be just a judge who sat and listened. I wanted him to be a major adversary for all the young guys to play against. And the more I could make him a pain in the ass, the better the scenes were, because we had something to spark off of.
You've mentioned just getting a couple of times. You mentioned the getting out of the way. Are there times as an actor where you have to kind of help things along? And then in this case, I guess this was the exception because it was written so well, because it was Aaron Sorkin.
Yeah, there are. You will, particularly in film. I don't I don't do any play that I don't believe in, so I don't think I've been in one that needed a tremendous amount. But if you're in a piece of material, either in a film or television, that isn't quite as good as you need it to be, you have to pull out your bag of tricks and try to make it work. You don't have to do anything here except learn these lines and say them, really.
What was it
And
like
that's what
working
I,
with Aaron?
oh, just wonderful, wonderful. I knew I had a great writer when I read it, but I didn't know that he'd be such a sensitive and really immediate director to all of us, not just, he had played no favorites. He gave equal time to every actor, which is quite a lot to do when you've got 12 leads.
Now, are you in the mindset of the judge this whole time, or are you able to go in and out of that mindset? I mean, I know some actors take different approaches. I'm just very curious as to how you approached playing the judge. I mean, were you always with that intensity from the moment you stepped on the set?
On camera, yes, absolutely. But off camera, I had thought I would stay away from them and create a distance and a certain aura that they could play against. But when I watched them the first day, I knew I couldn't do it. I wanted to know them personally. So I went down and introduced myself. And then when the camera rolled, everybody was on their A game. Everybody was playing to their max. And when the camera stopped, Mark had a game, that little thing that you play, what's the hockey, and other actors told great stories or great jokes. And when you're the old one, they always come over and want to know, what was this like? What was that like? And then action gets called and you go where you're supposed to go. It's what you're hired for.